Jean's grinding away on the outside. Zoom on just the leader, but Bold Mac's just about got him. Zoom on and Bold Mac, stride for stride. Zoom on lifting from Bold Mac. There's nothing in this. Zoom on just in front. Zoom on.
Welcome to Bet Doctor Behind the Curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. I'm joined in the studio with John Walter. Morning.
That's me.
Excited?
How are you?
Yeah, mate. I'm up and about. It's the last show before we take a little winter break.
Really?
We'll hibernate for a couple of weeks.
And I might have to inject myself more. Like
what with?
James Tedesco.
Anyway, they've just rubbed out Reece Walsh, complete rort, and he misses Origin. So in the
who's going to watch it anyway?
Me.
Huh?
Me. I'm going to bet on it. There's still morals Queensland without Reece Walsh, but grubby behaviour from New South Wales. Wouldn't expect anything less. DK, how's things down south in Mexico?
Oh, a bit tropical down here. Nick goes, as you would think, Scoot, you wouldn't be used to it anymore. It's probably freezing down here. But anyway, no, all right. Another quiet week. Oh, that's what I love about this, our caper, what we're in. Just, something always happens. And there it was yesterday with the parliamentary inquiry finished, and they're all their submissions and everything, so their reports. So, I'm sure we'll get into that. But how are you going, Nick? How was your week?
Yeah, not too bad. Got out of jail a bit in the last, just at Soundown.
Bigolino?
Yeah, Bigolino. Lafferty riding a double. Finals day at Flemington. Keen to get out there on Saturday. So for off-season racing, probably the best week for it this week.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, it looks an absolute cracker at Flemington.
10 of the best from Warwicknabeal as well, DK.
How good was that? Like, I'm doing the thing I'm doing. I'm downloading the acceptances come through and said things come up in the black book at Warwicknabeal. I didn't even know there was a meeting on. Did they add it this week because of all the lost meetings or something?
I think so.
Because then you go and see it. Then there's 20 horses in every race because everyone wants to run on the turf. So it's, but I'll be getting, you've already done it. I'll sink my teeth in today.
10 at Geelong as well.
I did Geelong, yeah. I did Geelong. So, turf racing with big fields. And I think we'll talk about field sizes soon. It's another thing on the rundown from Walt. He just loves content. He just tweets out anything. So it's makes the run sheet though. So anyway, we'll get to it soon.
Well, might as well we'll kick that one off first. Walt tweeted out a few days ago, what do you prefer in benchmark metro racing, 8 to 12 horse field full of good jockeys and good horses, or a lower quality, I guess, grade of horses and a mixture of riders, and then up to sort of full capacity fields, so 13 to sort of 24. What do you prefer betting into, Nico, first?
I don't really care, to be honest.
As I said, he was just making up content. Like, it just must have been a bloody quiet day. He's just sitting there. What have I got to say? What can I spit out today on Twitter? Oh, there's two things. I mean, the smaller the field's easier to get through when doing the form, obviously. Yeah. Takes less time. You want to sit there like Cup Week doing 10 races, 20 runners each, take you forever, back to back. And the other race, I'll do my answer. My favourite field size, whatever the last field, the lot size the last winner I back came out of. Is that a good answer?
A bit like your last tweet where you just never had an opinion. You just sat back and shot everyone off their pedestals, I guess.
I think it's better for turnover, bigger fields, and I think there's just more angles and more opportunities, but you need a decent-sized track to have them. So Moonee Valley has a tight turning circuit, so you can't really have big fields there. So I think it makes sense for them to have small fields and bad tracks like that. And Canterbury, you have to have small fields, but then Flemington, Sandown, all those bigger joints, and you can have bigger fields.
That's the problem with Twitter. You can only put 120 characters in. Like it's a much bigger question than that. But it was more about what you're going to turn over more money on. I was just interested to see what sort of people thought because, yeah, like your 8 horse, I like the 8 to 12 where you've got good jockeys and you can sort of work it out more. I think you're going to get through them quicker and probably bet in more of them because they're more predictable. The bigger fields, you're probably going to find a bit of value more often, but there's sort of a lot more variables. So you're betting less of those races for mine.
Again, it depends on your MO. Everyone's got a sort of different MO. Like I like trying to find the winner and maybe one more. I hate backing more than 2 in a race. Hate it. Just never. Every time I do that, it's a strip out. But then I know Trevor Lawson and even Scoot likes including them. So he'll back 5 in a race. In the big to get his margin, whatever to Trevor Lawson. So just different. Everyone's got different MOs, and the bigger fields might suit people like that.
Yeah, I was just sort of more thinking about consistent turnover because I'm definitely betting in a lot more races where there's less variables, but I'd probably bet bigger into a race, but 1 in 10 of those 20-horse fields when it sort of all looks like it's going to pan out at Randwick or something. Like you say, if it's Rosehill and there's 20 horses in a highway with 10 highway-level jockeys, if you can't pen the race quick enough and it takes you triple the time to get through it. So it was... the question was, it just didn't have enough detail to probably get enough sort of across. But just the Saturday, they're just such a grind. These 10 race cards with capacity fields, and this time of year where you've got 60-70% of the better jockeys away, it's just like
tricky.
Well, it's carnage.
That was that's my point. Yeah.
Speaking of carnage, the ACT released some news which seems a lifetime ago, but their PoC tax increases to 25%, making it, I think, the biggest in Australia. They haven't got the government support, and I think it was Dr. Patterson put out a bit of a tweet, and she's rapped that she's going to go within inches of killing off the industry in ACT. So pretty disappointing news, I would have thought, if you're a resident or a participant within the ACT, and I would have thought that a lot of trainers and industry people will either go to Victoria or slip over the border into New South Wales. I think the writing's on the wall there with the Labor Green dominant government.
I think they're gone already from what I've read. Probably 60% of the trainers have already left, which again I think that's a victory from what I gather. I sort of haven't been across it much. Beck told me that this lady's quite insane, and but they're heavy on poker machines, but heavy against not just racing, all sports gambling. So work that out.
So the ACT is the only jurisdiction without a centralised monitoring system for poker machines. So that's all sweet, but racing's just the easy whipping boy.
And that's it. Like as I said, I sort of knee-jerk reacted to her tweet, asked her what the hell she was talking about just because I was bored, but then sort of got a few direct messages and things, and it just makes sense. Like 25, well, if 15's probably around the tipping point, 20's insane, 25's completely insane, and it probably gets to the level where unless you sports bet, you're not going to bet on it. What's the point? So,
but hang on, isn't the PoC tax, isn't it for the bets struck by residents of the ACT on any other jurisdictions' races, including their own?
Yep.
So it's like they're betting on Melbourne. So that's. I'm just saying. So how's that poorly affect the race in Canberra and Queanbeyan or wherever they race? I know they obviously don't get any returns anyway.
New South Wales, I think.
Hurts at everything. Hurts at every.
Well, it's on
possible.
top of all the other taxes as well. So I don't understand. It would still be local players that. You might be right. It might continue on. It might be wrong, but it just seems completely insane that they want to. Well, it's just, and she says she's a. Did you see her bio? It says she's a gambling, what do they call it? Researcher or something like that. So, and she answers no questions that don't suit her. It's just what's behind the 25 is the point.
I think the problem is with the collection of the tax. I just don't know how much they're going to give back to the industry. Obviously, SA.
They say none.
Well, exactly. South Australia have just got an increase from their government. But if the government isn't supporting the industry, we've seen it over in Singapore, next thing you know, the industry just collapses. So the problem is it's the catalyst and the precedents that it sets for the other states to follow suit. If there's one already at 25%, they're going to watch this state. And if it survives,
what are they at the moment?
it's probably
20 in New South Wales, 15 going to 20 Victoria. Mm-hmm. Is it up here 20 or 15?
I think it's 20.
20. So so everyone's basically falling in line with 20, and then they're 25.
And then they'll all just start. Then if that all washes out okay, they'll go to 25.
They won't after what happened yesterday. Yeah. They won't after what happened yesterday. No.
So what's happened yesterday is the parliamentary inquiry into online gaming has been released, and there's a list of recommendations that have been handed down. So Richard Irvine, I guess, brought that to everyone's attention, and we've retweeted it. We've pinned it to our pages as well. So there's a couple of positives, and there's some scary potential negatives, and just a lot of talking points around a lot of that. But probably the shining light and something that we've been speaking about is the need for, I guess, tougher regulations around the smaller bookmakers. So a national body for complaints seems to be a positive, but I'm not sure how much weight or how much teeth that could possibly have if a bookmaker's, say, licensed in the NT. So I'd sort of welcome a national body, because all the grubby joints would get a bit of a kick up the arse or get a heavier sanction if they don't play by the rules. An interesting one was the ban on all the ads over the next 3 years. That's going to have cascading effects on not just racing, on AFL, on NRL. So all the advertising dollar that gets stripped out of all those places, radio station like SEN, there's going to be big problems there. Racing.com and some Sky Channel sort of racing only TV channels will benefit from that. But it's going to be a blanket ban, or they're going to try and slowly introduce that across all the the Channel 7s, the Channel 9s, and things like that. So that could be dangerous. Or maybe there's a brand new racing channel that could be born from something like that. So it could go one or two ways there. But the gravy train might run out for the AFL and NRL if that rolls in, which is interesting. And then I guess
which doesn't help us.
No.
Because no matter what, it's going to cost the corporates money, which no matter what, they're going to bring it back to, jacking our field percentages, whatever market percentage. I mean, you're not even to anywhere near the worst parts yet. So, but just advertising itself can't have a positive effect.
But I think from the days where I guess TAB had virtually a monopoly, the corporates have done a great job to push the advertising and to grow the game. And now I think it's more so just to try and maintain
but they haven't grown
their
it the correct
position.
way. They haven't grown the game. They've grown the problem gambling. That's the problem.
Yeah, well,
they've spent the money to increase turnover, but just probably not the way that was ever going to be sustainable.
And the other big talking point, which got, I guess, most punters across social media in a bit of a frenzy, was the bonus bets. So the recommendations were that bonus bets and incentives around multis and different sort of promo offers that they could be on the scrap heap too. So that's quite a scary proposition, and I think the whole business model for a few states would have to come under complete review, and even bookmaker models that are so reliant on bonus bets and inducements for customers. DK, what did you think about the list of recommendations?
No, it was all. Yeah, I thought it was all nearly from the way the lady Peter Murphy and obviously her colleagues approached the submissions, and when they were grilling the Sportsbet CEO and Tab CEO, you could sort of get some, you could get a feel of what they were thinking. So I don't think there's any shock in all these, any of this. We've been talking about that the corporates have bred this, culture of bonus bets like free spins on the thing. And now I don't care if they get the lemonade. I mean, I think something like an odds boost or a rock, that sort of stuff sticks around because that's the old bookie thing where someone comes up, you want to look after them, give them a roll of the board, all that sort of stuff. So I think that sort of thing would stick around. But the corporates have been taking the piss for years with the advertising, saturating all the platforms and everything like that. And I just think just to fatten their bottom lines. And now it's the time it's reckoning time. You can't induce. The premise of the whole inquiry to me was you can't induce problem gambling with bonuses and whatnot on one hand and restrict anyone who's got the ability to win on the other hand. It was just you could see the lady thought that was completely ridiculous.
And how do you feel about that when you read the article from Andrew Jones 2 days ago where he said they're in partnership basically with the corporates in giving them a write-off for all bonus bet losses off there.
Yeah.
So that's the PRA coming in and saying they're in partnership in the problem that they've come out one day later and said they are suggesting should be eradicated.
It's a co-investment.
Something like that. It's just like.
But look, the government. Look, this will affect turnover obviously and things like that because bonus bets are 5% of turnover, and governments get money out of turnover, so they'll have to strike a balance. But as we've been talking, and I mean, and particularly Walton that have the. I mean, Simon Miller was on the radio this morning. Do you hear him, Nico? His words. He's got the best horse in Australia, right? And his words, the prize money is insane. He said insane. He said, we'll come to Melbourne, we'll go on there, and we'll go on the Toorak. And there they've gone and thrown this $5 million race up in Sydney on the George Main on Caulfield Guineas Day. And now we've got to toss up whether they're going to go to the Toorak. And then if we do there, we might stay up there for the Golden Eagle, this $10 million race. But then he's saying, we might have to come back for the Cox Plate because it's better for the breeding residual. He's got the mare and everything. But his words, the prize money is insane. He said, you used to get $600,000 for winning a Group 1. He said, we ran second in the Quokka when we got $600,000. And a Quokka. So, I mean, and then, racing's let this prize money war go on, all attached to this turnover, and now it's all going to. As we've been saying, it's good. It's going to reach a tipping point. So anyway, that's my say. Everyone else have a go.
I just did a little bit of digging and saw that. I thought, let's compare the best horse that we've seen in Australia for a while, which is Winx. She won 37 of 43 starts, and she netted $26.5 million in prize money. And then I guess this was off the back of Clayton Douglas saying that they're going to try and do the Everest what is it, Everest Golden Eagle double. With Giga Kick, obviously he's the star gelding sprinter, and so he's sitting on 9.6 million from 7 wins. If he wins these next 2 starts, and his preparation looks to be about a 5 prep spring, perhaps he'll if he knocks over 2 more wins in those big races, the Everest and the Golden Eagle, he'll be edging close to that $26 million mark after 9 wins, after 9 starts. To me, that's completely ridiculous. And a horse like Redzel finished on about $16 million. So we've said, we keep talking about an 84% increase in prize money. Where's the sustainability? And if I was sitting in someone's chair like a PVL and I saw the report come out from the government, I'd be starting to think that, all right, I've probably got 12 months before I need to exit stage left and let the house of cards sort of fall in.
Oh, it's going to be fascinating what happens there. I mean, it's going to be Valandi's verse. He's going to be pitching in and have the tab up his clacker and everything, trying to, I mean, it's going to be interesting with how much of these recommendations get through. I tell you.
That's because it's going to take up to 12 months from, the conversations that I've had with Richie and knowing how governments work and how sort of slow they are. But they're only a list of recommendations at this stage, and the government would be silly to try and, kill off the industry full stop. They've used a couple of really extreme examples to paint pictures, but I think the summary of it that you've sort of mentioned, DK and Walt, are pretty bang on the mark. But this is the time I think PRAs need to rework the whole thing and then come up with something that's going to be a bit more sustainable, a bit more sensible, and at least RV have pulled their heads in terms of prize money increases. But you can just see like how crazy it is. Like the George Main, probably a good idea to push it to slot in nicely with the Cox Plate. That all sort of makes sense. That mile race, but they've gone and upped the prize money to sort of $5 million, and they've gone all to Ascot. It looks like a bit of a junket over there. Who does the King really care? I'm tipping it's a pretty low on his priorities, but looking at the party that they threw over in Ascot, I would have thought there'd be 100k there, maybe 50 or 100,000 in flights. You saw Chris Waller there and a fair few people representing Racing New South Wales. Not sure what's got anything to do with the UK, but it's just utterly crazy, the prize money.
Yeah, I couldn't care less about any of the racing or any of the races or whatever their prize money is anymore. It's all this. If they bring bonus bet, if they get rid of bonus bets and turnover, it doesn't matter what happens. And I said DK just heard 5%. I would have thought it was a lot more. But even if it isn't, what are they incentives? Like say you deposit 100, deposit 500, get 500. That's going to that entices a lot of people to deposit at all. So even if only 5% of their actual turnovers through bonus bets, how much of it is encouraged by incentives currently? This is your people who are eligible for these things. So clients eligible, how much percentage of profit comes from those clients currently for the corporates? And then PoC is the big one that's going to be smashed because the growth profit is where they get their PoC money. So that's where a lot of these PRAs are now saying they're going to get their big sugar hit from is the PoC. So if bonus bets are gone, a lot of those people are depositing less. Will they deposit at all? And even if they do, how are the corporates going to combat it? They'll probably put the market percentages up. They don't get their bonus bets incentives. Now they're going to lose their money faster. How long does it take before they stop depositing at all? So, it's catastrophic potentially, the bonus bets and even if it looks like a small figure turnover-wise, what does that do to everything? And then do they put PoC up to try and think, because it seems what they're going to do at the moment.
That's been their only mechanism to try and...
Yeah, so we didn't make enough money last year, let's put it up. So then market percentage. So it's just, does anyone jerry that everything they're doing is completely wrong?
And they're going the wrong way.
Or not?
Mate, what does it mean when Andrew Jones said that he's confident existing customer agreements and bonus bets will be quarantined from the new inducements?
And then one day later they release this thing. So I think he's just completely.
But he says as the government deals with a review of all the gambling issues, he's confident the existing agreements and bonus bets will be quarantined from the new inducements. So God knows what that means. I don't understand.
I'd say he's just had an absolute air swing. He's also said in the thing that he thinks himself as the fan of racing, someone who sits on the couch and has 3 bets a week on a Saturday afternoon. So. Okay, if like take me for example, I like it, whatever you want to say. I got to pick with a couple of people who follow me. I bet myself how much more turnover do I generate than a bloke sitting on the couch who bets 3 times a week. They've backed me into a corner where I'm turning over probably 10% of what I used to. And now you incorporate these changes. It's just like, how can someone come out that's the head of the thing and say that the whatever? You nearly want to give up. Like, it's complete madness. It's complete madness. But this stuff yesterday, if they don't tackle it quickly, like you say, I don't care whether it's whether they're lenient on or not with the bonus bets. Bonus bets and incentives is the biggest contributor to problem gambling in the country. There is absolutely no doubt that someone who is overspending is more likely to overspend if they're induced by these deposit bonuses and whatever. So there's no doubt that is going to be a huge part of any changes made going forward. They're never going to be able to save them long term, especially now that they've got this report. So if they don't react to this and work out that turnover is what keeps the game alive, not bonus bets, how do we protect? How do we create turnover? Maybe consult people who actually bet. Might be an interesting start. Did see that was part of their recommendation, is to actually talk to people who are part of the wagering side of the industry. And I didn't think it meant corporates. I think it actually meant punters. And that's in informing that new set of rules or whatever, which, again, I wouldn't be, it's a potential positive, but like, look at the NBLs. They were pretty bad, I thought. But anyway, even if they're increased, what are we going to be betting into? We're going to be betting into 150. So this is their chance. This is their chance to really
fix it
have their own independent report and try and work it out. Like, actually get some people involved who are interested in increasing their turnover back to where they were previously. What do they need? What are the compromises that we can put in place to actually make it happen, rather than worrying about prize money?
Yeah, they seriously need to look at what just needs to be back to the future in terms of a more sophisticated price-driven model. And I think DK's right. I think maybe the odds boosts and the roles of the board and things like that, I think they need to re-educate their customers and push them down that path, which is a big problem, because at the moment they're trying to do the money back second, thirds and all those sort of things with bonus bets, and the customers are completely rusted onto that.
Well, the deposit matches and that are the huge ones, aren't they?
Well, that's right. One thing. But then they want the person to sit on the computer all day and then
I agree that an odds surge and a thing like that is not an incentive. It's them returning the markets back to something like what they should be. Obviously, they don't make it available to everyone. I think that's something that they probably would have to change to get it through, is to make it available to all customers. And then it's not an incentive. It's just it goes from 120 to 112 or something like that, which is where it should be anyway. So, I don't see those as incentives as a punter. I think it's more about, deposit 500, get 500 and all that sort of stuff is where the issue lies.
Be interesting to see how the breeders responded and whether they, when they start to rally. Well, they're going to have to start jumping into our corner.
Well, the funny thing is, that's
you're
DK
right.
100%.
I'm not laughing at it.
Well, the problem is the breeders are in the pocket of other people, and they're I don't know.
It's going to be fascinating to watch it watch it all sort of wash out and see how much influence that the racing industry can have back onto the government there and what sort of filters through. But 25 recommendations, and we'll see how harsh they come down on us.
I'm just happy, not just for Richard, because he's just battled so hard, especially for that national bookmakers betting obligation that I think was in there as well. And trying to get something going for the sports people and other little things there that the ombudsman, as our bookies, can't write their own T's and C's, or if they do, they've got to get them seen over and stuff like that. All that little stuff that was on the periphery there that Richie's campaigned so hard for and sort of had to sort of step away because it's, as he said, it's affected his personal life a bit and all he's done. So I was just pleased for him that a lot of this stuff's finally at the front door of the government.
All those things are in place currently. T's and C's have to be approved by the PRAs at the moment. So will there be a change if it's an independent ombudsman, or will it just continue on the way it is now, that they just rubber stamp everything in exchange for a PoC tax and all these things? So you got to everyone's got to understand that the punters are the fan. That's it. It's not that hard.
Exactly. And at the moment, the two fairest operators that encourage the best and the safest responsible gambling are Betfair and TopSport at the moment, and have been trying their ass off for the last, I don't know, probably 2-3 years or longer to try and get it through the government and PRA's heads on how to best tackle the problem. They need to be sort of welcomed back into the game and say, hey, how do you think we can fix it?
Why are Betfair so silent? I seem to be the only one in the world that loves Betfair, and I don't hardly use it. But to me, it seems like the one place that if it's treated the way it is, it doesn't matter who runs it. It doesn't matter whether it's called Betfair or Nick Fair. It doesn't matter. That's the place where there should be 100% market that everyone can play to, and obviously you pay some sort of commission but it creates turnover everywhere. And I just don't understand why they're so silent in they don't defend themselves. Or they don't let anyone know why they are being treated as a wagering service provider when they're clearly not one.
Exactly. And I think if you have the healthy exchange, everyone can just use it as a tool to get off and on. And something
Bookmakers
like
can. Everyone can.
And they're never going to get the full gamut of the retail dollar. That won't suit 90% of the punters in the current marketplace. Will still not. They just won't go there. They just won't want to use it.
But it gives a place for everyone to go. It gives a place for liquidity to actually grow rather than shrink like it is currently.
Yeah.
And it gives it's a tipping service. It's a literal tipping service. That creates turnover. It's a place where you and I can bet. It's a place where corporates can bet. It's a place where everything will grow. Same as that silly idea with the putting money into the totes. Like it's, again, just a simple example of something that money injecting back into it creates further growth by places like Gelco and you and me and everyone else wanting to bet back into quaddies and things and the Quinellas that you just can't even take now because we're not allowed. You know, it's restricted. So they're just two simple things that can create exponential growth in turnover instantly. I know it's not an instant decision to change the tax structure on Betfair, but if someone actually goddamn looks at it, surely it's an option.
It'd be fascinating to see if someone like Racing Victoria had the balls to try and get the exchange to be vibrant in their state, make that work, all the bookies grow their turnover and push more money through the exchange and create a more competitive marketplace there. I think the dominoes would start to fall all around Australia, and then New South Wales would be on their own, and that'd be the only place at Betfair, and the bookies wouldn't thrive. And if all the bookies are thriving in the game, that the turnover would just lift.
And you look at the exotic pools in Hong Kong, obviously a very different place, but if you I would love to know what the corporate turnover on exotics are. Now, if you tip all that back in, you give them half in commission, whatever it is, because the takeouts are massive anyway, all of a sudden they do start, say, a global tote, and the Hong Kong market things start betting into our exotic pools that are non-existent currently. How big could they be?
Yeah, they could be massive.
And at the moment, you have $20 on something and you're winning your own money back.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, it's a massive line in the sand moment, so I'll be interested to see how the next 6 to 12 months washes out. We'll push along, otherwise we'll be here for a week. And this, as I said, this is our last show before the winter break. Donnie's got a marathon, Gold Coast Marathon. I'm not allowed to leave my house for 2 days. They're blocking off all the streets. Can't move my car.
You can run in it.
Hey?
You could run in it.
No, no good. No good. It's too extreme for me. I wouldn't be interested in that at all. But Donnie is running for a guy called Joseph who's got a spinal cord injury. You can get to our Twitter page at Little Birdie TV. And if you've got some spare cash lying around, this young rugby player hurt his spine, and Donnie's doing the run for him. So make sure you support Donnie if he's hit a couple of winners.
20 or 40?
No, there's a half marathon is 20
What's he running?
And then 42, so 21 and 42 or something.
What's he running?
I've got no idea. I assume.
By the way, it's a big effort.
I think it's both, just lunacy, both of them. But not sure what he's doing. He has been training.
Who's the favourite, Beaver or Donnie?
No, Donnie's very fit at the moment. He looks fit. He looks a bit gaunt around the face, so he's very serious. He won't even go out for a beer.
You're saying Beaver's got no hope?
No.
None?
No. If you forget to register for the marathon, you got no chance to actually run a big race. Sunshine Coast standalone meeting. They got there by the skin of their teeth. It's going to be hammering down in the Sunshine Coast all next week. So Saturday looks like it's good weather, and then it goes to absolute poo. Well, you've got the races at Rosehill, Iron and
Walt's
Murder.
gone. Walt's leaving. He's just seen that his horse has drawn 17 at Tuncurry in a field of 17. It's last chance in life. Walt's gone.
Jockey concussion. That's a new way to get your horse.
Can we have a very quick talk about that?
Oh, God. Yeah, go on.
Very quick talk. So, obviously, pocket talk to a certain degree. But
big degree.
But well, it was, and it was a big result for me, but that's not the problem. The horse clearly goes up, smacks itself 10, 15, 20 seconds before the jump. Not only you often see a horse gets its foot over it, I don't know whether it did or not, but they pull it out regardless. This is a horse with a 3 kilo female apprentice, no knock on the jockey at all. The horse then comes back down, a steward's whatever, out the back, she nearly goes to the outside fence in the straight. Clearly all is not well with the rider throughout the race. They come out with a tweet, not the stewards, Racing New South Wales, to say that Amy McLucas struck herself on the way out of the gates. I'm a psychopath. I go straight to the steward's vision as soon as it comes out, 1 second after it comes up. Clearly nothing happens coming out of the gates. I asked the question, did this actually happen 20 seconds before or when it happened? Steward's report comes out like 3 hours later than normal. She was asked whether she was sweet to go. She said yes, so they resumed with the race. Surely a 3 kilo girl that strikes her head in the gates needs to be taken out and assessed because she's a 3 kilo, and I guess a girl even shouldn't be a part of it, but she's an apprentice. She struck her head. She's on a short price favourite. Surely sanity prevails and they come out and I know there's no doctor behind the gates to give her a HRA or whatever, HIA or whatever it is.
There is. There's definitely a doctor behind the gates. There always is.
Well, there you go. So there's a doctor and a vet or whatever to do. So why would they not use it in this case when you got a 3 kilo that struck their head on a short price runner?
Favourite turnover.
And then, the steward's report, very light. She's stood down for the rest of the day with concussion. So she's dead set half knocked herself out and been allowed to go around on a horse. Yeah.
Scary.
And the horse even, it shifted a plate and was late to the thing. So there's a lot of reasons to make sure that this horse checks every box before it's allowed to run. And that was obviously a very serious box. And thank God she got around safely.
Nothing happened to her. I tell you what, they would have done their absolute shallots if something bad had happened to her.
Or anyone else. That's right.
She would have got them for everything.
And deep down, all you really care about is Carly. And she hasn't got a fair run for her money either. And how sick was it when it launched down the middle? You just wanted to see it plod and do nothing down the straight, and then it unleashes down the outside just to put the knife right into the wound. What a good horse it is.
Do you go this deep every time you back a favourite that loses?
No, that was just sick. It was just terrible situation that shouldn't be allowed to happen. And they should have to come out and explain what happened and apologise.
We're never going to get that in New South Wales.
No.
Ray Thomas might write an article, or Chris Roots, but doubt you get much headway there. All right, well, hopefully Walt's got one tip and this one goes a little bit better. Nico, you got the Creswick Stakes, Winter Championship Day, deep fields. Walt would hate it, but I like the look of it. There's so many angles, so many good horses. It's an absolute belter for first of July. It's gonna be an absolute corker. The Assaulter from Malta, he's in Mykonos on holiday, so I'm gonna have to super sub in for the Sunny Coast Cup. So he's working on the tan, our mate. What's Lord Voldemort? He's not coming on the show after we gave him an absolute pasting.
Did he back a winner last week?
No, I think he cast.
Oh,
no good. So he's sucking up, but he'll be back. He'll be back for spring. So late July we'll get back into the show. TopSport have got 3 middle pinners. Make sure you open an account with TopSport. Support the show. Australian owned and operated for almost 40 years. These guys might be the turning point for these. If the bonus bet's scrapped and it's just a battle of prices and having a crack, these guys will be right back at the fore. They'll be one of the leading bookmakers leading the charge, and they know what they're doing. So make sure you check them out. Nico, we're going to go to you first. There's a little bit of rain about. How do you see Flemington playing this Saturday?
Probably soft 6, maybe. Hopefully a 5, but I see it playing pretty fair. I think the rail goes back into the true. It's played pretty fair recently, so it should be a good day out for some good finals day racing from HQ.
Beautiful. Let's go to race 2 first. The Leilani Series final. Over 1,400 metres, and Pacific Ruby's the favourite here, $2.60 at TopSport. Sione, $3.80, $6 Dazzling. Lucy, good and proper, 15. Typhoon Titmus, 14. Rumbled again, 14. She's pretty rich, 15. And better, the rest. Pacific Ruby is the horse that you like here. Good win first up in the Mar Eustace blue and green. Tell us why you like it.
Yeah, well, she's unbeaten since she's come to the Mar Eustace stable. This is a good win first up. This is one of her better figures she's put down on punting form. She had a bit of improvement to come. I just love the way this mare finds the line in all of her races. Like I said, she's unbeat with the Mar Eustace stable. She kind of looked half gone there, about 150 out. And then when He's Our Bonneville goes with her, she really lifts and finds late here. I thought it was a really good, tough fighting win. This race is no stronger than what she faced last start. Sione is probably your main danger, but she had the absolute PR last start at Flemington. I know she's got to rise 52.5 to 59 kilos, but she does come up against the mares. Barrier one's a little tricky, but she has shown there once she finds a gap or sort of has something to chase, she's willing to find the line. So I thought on a day where, punters are looking for something to really sink their teeth into, I thought she was probably the best winning chance at Flemington.
Geez, I like what I saw there, DK. As soon as that horse just moved up towards her, bang, found again, didn't she?
Well, and then if she was going to be vulnerable, then the theory was she was vulnerable there first up, and she's gone on one end. The last 50 metres was her best. So I just don't know how Nico's found it. Okay, I couldn't find it on form. How could you? What is she going for? Six in a row.
6 in a row.
I love a picket fence, Nico. You've done well finding her, but no, that's I'd like to see. You like to see that late work first up. Says she's in for a good prep,
and I think you'll get half a price because it's not like Jamie Carr's on her, who's rode her in a lot of her starts. Like Matty Cartwright, the syndicates aren't going to be all over him. So I think if you had a cop, Zara or Malum or someone, she'd be 220, not 260. So he's just got to find a gap from one and she'll be winning.
I thought he's going all right, Matty Cartwright. He's getting a few good opportunities and he seems to be doing a good job.
Yep. It's definitely backable.
Yeah, definitely backable. All right, the next one, that's a nice easy one. So start your multi or start your day with that one. Just go bang. And then we'll go Flemington race 6 into the Polytrack Mahogany Challenge final, 2,500 metre race. This is my sort of cup of tea. The old big plonkers. First Immortal's a favourite here, 440 in from 480. Wackamana, $5. My brother's keeper, 6. Verifier, one of Nico's, $9. Ain't He Grand, 10. King's Crossing, 10. Got to Be Savvy, 12. And Nara is 15. Gorgeous Zara, 16. 18 Midnight Lady, Daddy Frank, 26. 31 Lavish Thinker. And then Rise to Stardom is $61. So a race with potentially a long tail here. There's a couple of replays we're going to have a look at here. The first one has got Lavish Thinker and a host of chances here. It's got My Brother's Keeper in the race. Talk us through this race, Nico.
Well, this is probably the lead up. This is what the market thinks the lead up is. First Immortal wins. I thought Lavish Thinker might be the horse to take out of this race. He's in the Think Big colours back on the fence. Now, Bitcoin in front of him does fall, and I think he's impacted by that fall. You don't really get to see it in the vision here because they cut away. But I think he definitely was impacted by that fall. And he gets going a bit late. He's worked through the lines really strong that last 200 metres. I think he's probably the horse to take out of that race. Looking at his sort of overall form profile, I actually backed him early on in the Derby last year. I thought he was a real horse that getting out to 2,500 metres will suit him. He's never been to that distance. He won at Sales sort of in a maiden a few starts ago and then found a really slowly run race at Sale the run after. And then there he hasn't had a lot of luck. So from barrier 16, I think you'll get a bit more luck here. Zach Spain goes back aboard. He's got a good association with the horse. He's ridden him 4 times for 2 seconds and a win. So he's the main man for the horse. And I just thought with that interference, he probably was the runner that was most impacted and should have been right in the finish. So he was the one that I was pretty keen to back at around 30s. I don't know if we have the other replay here, but the other horse.
Yeah, we do.
The other horse I was keen to back, DK might be able to chime in here, is Rise to Stardom. Now, this is one at a long price, about $61. This horse is very, very easy to tie in. This horse that hits the front here, Harland, actually won on Tuesday at Ballarat.
It did.
This horse, early in its campaign, bumped into One Last Kiss, and One Last Kiss went over and ran 4th in the SA Fillies Classic. 3rd was Wackamana. So there's not much between a lot of these horses. Wackamana's $5.50 and this horse is $71. Easy to tie in the form through that way. Thought there was a good case you could make for this horse. He just needs a faster run race. He got into an absolute barrier trial race at Seymour. He just looks like a real grinding sort of stayer. And I think in a bigger field here, drawn a good gate and the potential for him just to position him behind the speed and potentially get a much quicker run race, I think he might be the best stayer. So,
well, that was the first time you really got to see what he could do.
And it was again in a slowly run race. Like he was held up coming to the turn and then had to sprint.
What I loved is that he was pushed him along. He was pushed along early as a stayer, and then his last 200 was really strong. So it's not like ground to the line. He actually lifted his speed to beat Harland. It was $1.60 there.
Yeah, and his last 400, 30th quickest of the day. Last 200, 3rd fastest of the day.
It was,
in the staying
I know. I
race.
just couldn't. That's right. So you think he'd be grinding to the line, just the same one back. He actually really lifted his speed. To knock off a $1.60 chance, like Harland ran to its SP there, was supposed to win, it beat the rest 3 lengths, and then this thing just jumped and beat it. But no, I like the angles there, Nico. Looking for, the rank outsider in this race, off his rocker, won by 7 lengths the other day. So looking for value in this. There's not much, but we see him in the margins running in these races, all these 3-year-old stayers. This time of year, there's nothing there's not much between them. They're all coming. It's basically a Class 1 race. They're coming out of maidens and that was a slowly run race that I'm Immortal won the other day. That wasn't good.
Yeah.
Or they put the anchors out, mid-race. So it just who the race suits, as you said. So if they run along here, but you found a few improvers there, so I couldn't disagree.
Even our horse Verifier, like he sort of went up $6. Now he's out to $9. He'll be suited to 2,500 as well. So I think it's a race you can have a good look at. We saw Midnight Lady. She ran second to Wackamana last start at Sounddown.
But there's the prime example. So she won a maiden at Warwick, Nabil. Just won the maiden. She was entitled. I think she sat wide, but she was entitled to win. She was evens or something.
Starts hundreds.
Starts hundreds at Flemington
really
ran second.
Yeah.
So they can go from the bush to that's what I'm saying. Offie's Rocker. I can't see why Offie's Rocker's 100 to 1. It won by 7 lengths the other day and ran slow time. I know it was a heavy 12, but still. That's how even this bunch are.
Yep. So I think Rise to Stardom's a really good chance there at 70. So I'd have him much shorter, and Lavish Thinker's probably the improver out of the lead up.
I can definitely see the angle there, and it's a great point you make about Lavish Thinker because when you first look at that replay, I thought my brother's keeper was the horse, but it does cut out because I think it was Bitcoin Baby, the horse that fell. So it is frustrating that you can't see that. Like I'm trying to have a bet in this race, and I know
that one's a little frustrating because there's nothing to come of it. Like the horse was fine. Linda's fine, and
they don't want you watching that stuff.
They've still cut it out. So
no, but like
they cut them all out now.
We're here to
Put
bet,
a disclaimer on the front of it.
Well, exactly. Like, just don't watch it. Like, it's just crazy. Like, the horse and jockey are sweet, so I just don't understand. Like, I'm trying to have a bet, and I can't bet. Like, from me,
takes 5 minutes to even blank that part out or something. Like, as in, like. Fuzzy out that part of the horse, or I don't know.
Oh, exactly.
There's got to be a better way.
So instead of having
if something really bad happens, fair enough.
It's probably going to cost them a monkey of me getting the race wrong anyway. So I just can't now. I can't have $500 on a horse because I just don't know. I can't line the horses up properly. So it gives you the shits. Anyway, you convinced me, Nico. I think that Rise to Stardom just looks crazy price at 70. You just have to be on. You can back him each way too. That's an absolute beauty if you can transfer the form from. What about synthetic to grass, DK? What's your feeling? Obviously, you're a big synthetic man.
Oh, I won't pot him till. I did say I thought he improved on the home track there, but I won't pot him until I see him do it. He's only having his 5th start, isn't he? So no, I'm happy with the horse. Lightly race stayers, good trainer. So no, I don't mind. My theory is the Pakenham Poly's a magnificent track to bet on. Ballarat Synthetics. Up and down like a yo at the moment. There was the biggest fast lane there last week I think it was the Friday. Was it last Friday? It was last Friday because then they backed up there, ran Saturday because the meeting at Wodonga got the Friday, the biggest, there is 1 lane highways and 1 lane highways. Now that was the biggest 1 lane highway I'd ever witnessed, I reckon, in the history of doing videos and the races. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, they did. There was a bit of a Twitter storm on that one. You weren't there. There was many people just saying that you got to prepare better tracks than this. And as an owner, just to try and put your horse around there, it's pretty disgusting.
Pakenham's magnificent. You can win from anywhere at Pakenham.
Sunshine Coast have got this 10-metre rail position where it is leader fence every time, and you think, well, maybe it's not, but it is every single time. You wonder why they bother going around. Like, why? What do you draw 6 and you're a back marker? Stay home. I just don't understand how they get fields above 4 horses. I really don't.
Oh, 4 horse fields. That's small to find the winner.
That's it. And then the back marker leads and no worries.
If you want more of Nico's thoughts, make sure you check out his Mounting Yard Mail. It's a absolute must for this Saturday. Big fields at Flemington, so he'll be braving any weather conditions there for $25 a week. We absolutely love it. So make sure you check that out. Sunshine Coast Cup, as I said, this Saturday. Zoom On's the favourite here. Race 6. I think the weather's going to hold up. It's going to be a soft 5, sort of good 4. Zoom On, $3.10. Luncey's $4.60. Bois d'Argent is $6. Desert Icon $6.50. Regal Lion. Nico sort of half found that in the Ippy Cup. That was that sneaky Annabelle compressing the weight, $7.50. Warning was a good run. Dropping back in distance here, $8. Cedar Power. That's a horse I sided with. Went absolutely terrible last start in the Ippy Cup. 2-1 pace there, $21. Secret Glamour, $26. Irish Sequel, $34. Sneak Preview, $34. Tappy's Lad at $61, and then the Fearless one at $71. I thought the horse to beat here was probably Zoom on the good track. I think you tipped him this day, Walt.
Yeah.
I think
go.
Yeah, interesting with this one. I've sort of dug into his form, and Walt may prove me wrong. I don't love the race, but This horse only seems to come unstuck if he sets a cracking pace and goes far too fast, or he finds a wet track. So I think he gets conditions to suit. I think he's sort of the right favourite. There's a few horses that I just don't really like the setups. Warning's going really well. It's dropping back in distance. I'm a bit hit and miss with Luncey's. I thought Timmy Clark gave an absolute great ride last time. I got queries over the Ipswich Cup form. I thought the value in the race might have been Secret Glamour. It's around $26. It was a complete trial around Calipore and Cepheus in a 2,000-metre race about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And if you like the Ippy Cup form, there's a horse that looks like it's nearing to its peak. The Kiwi stayer called the Fearless One. It was given absolutely no chance in the Ippy Cup. Still ran on really well, and it sort of looked like the knockout at $71. But I thought 54.5 kilos, Tim Clark. This is the best ever chance that you get to see Zoom on to see if he can run a good 2,400. But got the right rider, and then horses like Luncey's, Bois John, Desert Icon, and then even Regal Lion and Warning. I thought you can make pretty strong convictions against those sort of horses. But Secret Glamour from the Mar Eustace Yard and the Fearless One from New Zealand. Probably would have rathered a jockey upgrade there, the Fearless One, but Michael Hellier, I guess, knows what he's got, and he's got Barrier 1 as well. So that was sort of my angle on the race. I'd probably make those 3 horses a winner.
Problem is you're getting the same price you got about him over 2,000 metres last start, where he was the only leader on a fence, Rosehill 2,000, and he's had an extra run. So now you're going to a huge track, 2,400. I agree. Dropping, 54.5, he's timed his run perfectly to get into this race. Like, he gets in just above the limit or whatever it is, but he's actually, I think he's a 95 rater and 105 raters top. So he's actually in the weights, which is important. Luncey's goes Timmy to Andrew Mallion, bit more passive rider from a wide draw. I agree with you. You can sort of poke holes in all the other runners. Bois de Jean and Desert Icon, they're just horses. Don't think either of them really excel at 2,400. Yeah, I'd rather go wide, like you said, to say Secret Glamour and look for horses, the Fearless One, that could improve at odds rather than bet up heavily in the race, that's for sure. But I think you're right. Like, it probably has to be favourite by default. And if he controls, he's got a strong sprinting 600 in him, which is pretty important at this level of staying race. So if he runs the 2,400 or gets it soft enough in front, I'm sure he'll give a heck of a side. It's probably just the price that's on the limit. It's probably as short as you'd want to take him running 2,400 metres at this level.
Yeah, I thought that. And then I sort of tried and find Irish Sequel, but he's sort of coming in third up, and he's got the sort of the zoom on form as well. Like, it'd be an amazing Chris Waller spike if he could turn the tables there.
But you could see it happening in this race, couldn't you? That's the thing. Like, you could see one of those jumping out of the ground. Would you rather, if you had $100 to bet in the race, would you rather have 40 on Secret Glamour and 30 on Irish Sequel and 30 on whatever and hope for a result, or have 100 on Zoom on at 5-2? I'm not really sure what the answer is. It's not an easy race.
I'd be making sure that you have something small on Secret Glamour and the Fearless One, and Zoom On's probably the horse to beat. So there you go. Hopefully we've made that a little bit more simpler, or we've cancelled out a couple of chances. We'll probably just grade everyone up. Make sure you check out puntingform.com.au. You can transfer your form into any state. So anywhere you like, you can type in puntingform.com.au, and then you can get any track that you like. And they've got... you can just knock out markets or form in a flash. I'd love to do like a little trial where everyone gets punting form and they get 2 hours to do a race, and then give them a betting bank and just see who can make the most money off the back of it.
Would be fine. If you ship it 20 minutes, give us 3 minutes, 5 minutes, make it shorter.
But I'm gonna send you to somewhere completely different.
I'm looking forward to seeing Grabini go around in that. I think it won't be Winks like, but was that the race she won up there? And this horse 18 back to a mile around that big track. If they're running on there, I think it'll run a heck of a race in the Guineas. Yeah, very well set up. Ryan Maloney should suit the horse. It's
already been backed, and I see that City of Lights has been pushed into the race as well from the Freeman yard. It's the half to it's out of the same mare, Vegas Showgirl.
The
half sister.
I don't know.
Deep Impact. It's $26. I haven't got a rider for it, so I think it's second emergency, but it's got to take on
maybe that's it.
Grabani, Soothsayer, the Chairman, Robusto, Fashion Legend, Stroll.
You can pick a hole in a lot of those Robusto and those ones. Yeah. Soothsayer is interesting. Timmy was booked for it. Then they changed it back to Betty Thompson, overruled. And then I think there's a rumour going around that the Friedman camp heard about the voodoo dolls that the Bash brothers have got, that when they get taken off one, they tend to not finish the course, and all of a sudden Timmy's back on it. So it'll be interesting. Soothsayer was the one that got beat narrowly in that controversial race where the $1.40 chance, what's it called?
Antino?
No, the thing he rode it too cold. Everyone was blowing up.
Yellow brick.
Oh,
Yellow brick. The yellow brick race. So I'd say Grabini's probably a better horse than Redina. So it'll be interesting to see.
Did Ben Thompson
Yeah,
ride Shiloh last Saturday?
Yep.
Geez, he can find a way, but then he bobbed up yesterday and rides a treble.
Yeah, those sort of riders drive you crazy.
You can tell it's a Queensland show, can't you, DK? The Victorian horse up there doesn't even get a mention. The actual moral of the carnival, Muhamek in the glasshouse.
Moonamek.
Didn't
Hello.
is that the one that got beat the other day?
Cepheus, Moonamek, it runs second.
It's Hutchie's horse, isn't it?
Yeah,
Who was the horse that smashed it?
Antina.
Antina.
It's a star. And then you got Moonamek, $4.60. Cepheus is $7. He was pretty poor setup in the
went
eyeliner, but it went absolutely super. I thought it was a big danger. Aureus Angels in the race, Blazer Trail, another probably hard luck story. And then you got horses like Chassis, Gravina, Sinoan, Vespertine. It's probably looking for the 1400 now. I wouldn't.
I think the wide draws much to Moonamek's liking compared to the gate one. Doesn't look like it really likes being in those spots.
Back in distance, but Sunshine Coast, big track. So is that a moral? Is it Nico?
Oh, he'll be hard to beat. He's absolutely flying. So Blazer Trail was a moral beaten in the Ipswich race, and Chassis flying. Sinowan might improve, but Muhamek's just in super form, and I think Sunshine Coast, like you see some of his best runs last prep were at Soundown and Flemington. Like he'll love that track.
I tell you that.
I'd be able to
Aureus
take on Blazer
Angel.
Trail. It was just too perfect to set up last time.
Those crisp months, I think it's a mare as well, same as the one from, is it a mare? Yeah, it's a mare. It's run behind in that race where they absolutely wore Comrade Rosa and another dubious ride, that Schiller's thing. What was it called? Anyway, whatever it was. Its run was insane that
Aureus
day,
Angel.
and same as Palacipam was in the Stradbroke before it came out and won the thing. So I'd be mighty scared of anything Chris Muntz puts down up there at the moment. Holy hell.
On fire, I reckon.
Well, he half cast. He got in well on that horse last week, but he completely missed the boat. It's not many horses can run past a Waller horse at the end of a Group 1, and he's missed the boat, lost all momentum, and run straight past it late. So Muntz's horses are going extra well.
Shiloh's probably more a bit there, though, isn't it?
Is that one of his?
No.
Was that in that race?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's spelled
Ben
with a
Thompson.
C. I'm thinking it's Shiloh, Shilo.
Nah. Yeah. Anyway, cool. All right, Rosehill race 10 is the one that Walt likes here, the Bowman's handicap over 1,300 metres. Pardon me. Cosmic Minerva's a favourite here, $3.70. Wind Shadow $4.60. Either or $5.50. Lolly Yates $8.50 into $5.50. That is a big move. Danish Prince $6. Colour Sergeant $7.50, and then Louvois is $8 there. The replay we're going to have a look at is Cosmic Minerva, and Josh Parr is going to steer this one for Bjorn Baker. Here it is in the Bjorn blue and gold.
So this was a track where it was just insane on speed inside. And, this horse, funnily talking to Josh after the race, which is obviously something a lot of people don't get to do, he said this horse felt like it sprinted so quick that it nearly slipped. He said it felt like it turned a foot back, and you look at it, it looks terrible to the eye. So that's what, it was not terrible, but it sort of looks like it grinds away. That's how bad a bias can make a horse look. Gracie Styler was in this race scratched. It was the horse, the grey, just inside it there. So being first up 1,300, super forgiving of that run, considering the bias of the day, and it was first up. Would have wanted it to be a little bit shorter. So 1,300 now. A race where you've got either or should lead. Really do pray that it goes as quick as it went last start, which is probably unlikely, but there's enough pressure from sort of Wind Shadow, Danish Prince that'll roll forward as well. Hopefully Louvois and Walking and Talk and get involved. I hope they all just line of 6 for the first 800 metres. It'd be awesome. But if not, Cosmic Nerve is definitely adaptable enough to sort of sit right behind those horses. The rail is out 4, and it is a good 4, which is interesting because I see even Hawkesbury today's had 3 mils of rain in 10 days and it's a 7. So it's weird how these tracks that are only a few kilometres apart are so different. But at the moment, a good 4 with not a lot of rain around. So have to keep an eye on the pattern a touch, because if we get a track like we did last start, Rosehill, it could be a problem. But I think this horse is going to run extremely well. It was a little bit better price, and the horse that I thought was interesting, which was $10 this morning, is Lolly Yates. First up from 378-day break. These Neesham horses are going quite well, and its trials are really good. But if Randy Adkins is the danger, I'm pretty happy to be with Cosmic Nerve. I think it'd be very, very hard to beat as long as we get a fair track.
Because what could Chad ride? 52.5, Lolly Yates. Chad can't ride that weight because he's on.
I think he could, but not for this. You know what I mean? Like it's probably one of those. If it's an Everest, I'm sure he could do it. But Andy sort of walks around crazy light, so it makes sense for them to throw him on this horse. But she's one of the few stables where long breaks don't seem to worry me. They're a bit like obviously she's got the grounding from Ma and her time with him, and 2 trials, and she obviously hasn't been worked for a long time and really builds them up slowly because they do tend to race quite well off long breaks, and she's obviously proven she can get them to run well first up from England, which Waller even has had a lot of trouble doing. So she does something right with these horses off long breaks and bringing them off different climates. She's doing a good job.
Racingwatch.com.au if you want more of Johnny's stuff. So he'll be doing all races there, and any of the New South Wales provincial, especially I guess north of the Riverina. He plays in that sort of pond. So if you're looking to up your turnover in New South Wales, I heavily recommend that you check out his racingwatch.com.au website and either get it via Telegram or the Discord if you want to have a chat with other like-minded punters. Donnie, as we said, he's got the big marathon, so I wish him well this week. He's running for a great cause, so make sure you support him by jumping on the Twitter page there and the GoFundMe page for Joseph, who's got that spinal injury. But we'll hear from Donnie.
G'day, gents. Donnie here with the best bets for this weekend's racing. But more importantly, I'm running the marathon this weekend to raise funds for a Titans player. Broke his neck, a junior Titans player at 17, Big Joseph. If you got any spare money, please donate. I'll get Scooty to share the link. The best bets for this weekend, the best comes up in race 1 at Sunshine Coast. It's called Defiant Spirit. One of these track and trip 2 ago. I then went to Ipswich 1200 last start. Didn't get out till very, very late. Flashed over in the best sections of the day. It's an outstanding run. We'll get back here, but 1,000 middle draw should finish over the top. I think around $2. You might get better on the day. $2.20 is a great bet. The other bet comes up in race 7, Suicide in the weak skinnies. It was very good last start. It was in a photo for 3rd against Tony Sears, good horse. It should get a beautiful run from the inside back gate. Timmy Clark jumps on. Just got beat by Yellow Brick last start. Gets the gun map. Grabini, the Sydney horse, was drawn 18. It led last start. I don't think it'll lead here. Just a bit of a risk. So happy to back Suicide around that $4 mark. Good luck.
Sounds like Donnie's poo-pooing your horse, Grabini.
So Grabini's not a leader. He led because of the pattern and, written upside down. Obviously, the pattern helped it, but I don't think that's his particular racing style. If he drew a gate here, I think he'd sort of settle 7th or 8th anyway. But, it'd be a good race.
It's a cracker. Great jockey booking for Grabini as well. Ryan Malone would be perfect for him. And there's another one. Crafty Eagles out there in 19. There's a couple of horses, Fashion Legend, drawn wide, so he's not going to be on his Pat Malone. He might have something to take him to the race. And
the more pressure, the better for Gerald's horse, I would imagine.
Grabini's proven at that trip. Yeah, fascinating watch and fascinating racing here. TopSport Steamers, Murray Bridge is the first one, race 4, number 1. It's Prince of Helena, $250 at $14 there. Haven't got through Murray Bridge just yet. But we'll definitely...
It's a good wet tracker, that horse.
So, we'll have to check the weather there. But wet tracker, race 9, number 6 is Special Envoy.
No, haven't got there.
Haven't got that one yet?
What that horse is. Who is that horse? You've got me.
Stumped.
No, I don't know who that horse is. Braden Star. Geez, it sounds like a Waterhouse horse. Maybe it's first up from...
Braden Star, Touristics,
it's a UK horse having its first start in Australia. Yeah, interesting.
Oh, and Hippo's on it. Your man.
The Hippopotamus. Braden Star.
You have to circle back to us.
Yeah,
on this one.
It's an interesting. Braden horse. Did it run in Melbourne the other day? It did with Shin on it, didn't it?
I see you're in Kaboo. Is Kaboo a moral?
I think it is. But $2.10 Reggie's or whatever it is very hard to take. But I do think it'll win. But yeah, it's probably the opposite. If it's lead offence, they won't beat it. I wouldn't imagine without something strange happening. But it's $2 for a reason.
This is the other one, race 10, number 9, Lolly Yates, $300 at $8.50.
There you go. That's what must have caused whoever they think. So I did have a little sneak peek around. It is still $10 everywhere else. So whoever had the $300 at $8.50 is obviously
sleep at the wheel, but it was very keen to get on.
Yeah, they've obviously got
desperate.
They must have a big opinion of whoever it is to drop it from $8.50 to $5.50 off their bet, I'm assuming. So I'd expect it to probably firm other places, probably before this show goes to air. But it's definitely an interesting horse.
You're going to knock it off.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think that's our roundup for the major racing. But DK, have you got a Warwick Nabil or a Geelong Maiden or something tantalising for the punters out there that just need to bet before Saturday?
Yeah, I've got a maiden. Actually, won its maiden last start. Nico, race 8 there tomorrow. You got that on the punting. You got a bet on the punting form. This thing, race 8.
Geelong.
No, race 8 Geelong number 12. Thing called Bow Rap. So Bow Rap had blinkers first time last start, and it went like an absolute rocket.
You know what I had as well? Me off.
You off with the shades. Oh,
Didn't
well,
follow
it was like this is why I love blinkers as a this. Just forget about anything it did in its life before blinkers and just start blank canvas from last start. This is just horses, just different horses with the gear on, and it's that 3 wide the trip and just absolutely
on or in.
On what?
Gear on or gear in?
Gear on. What, gear. No, the bloke. No, actually, Alexander was suspended for a while. This is the other trainer. Have you got it there, Nico?
Yep.
What's it come home in?
Relative to the class, 8 lengths above.
8 lengths above,
Whoa.
and he didn't even fart on it. Like he just steered it up the straight. John Allen goes on the motor. I don't know if I prefer it drawn out a bit. It might be a bit of him, but anyway, let Johnny Allen. He's the man for the job tomorrow. Can work it out. And there might be a heavy track, might be a track pattern we've got to be wary of late in the day. But when I saw it win, I said, well, I haven't had that. I said, this will just win again, and it's a different horse with blinkers. So yep, Bow Rap tomorrow for me. Race 8, Geelong.
Race 8, number 12. Archie Alexander, John Allen, Bow Rap.
It's Archie's first couple of days back, I think, after his little abstinence for his indiscretion.
What did he get rubbed out for? Just
it was contamination. It was cross contamination. I don't think it was his fault. He only got 6 weeks, but had to give all the horses to Dan O'Sullivan. We'll get him in to do it.
Yep, a little bit of a caretaker role. Beautiful. All right. Fair bit of meat on the bone. Couple of big roughies there. So hopefully Nico or me or someone can just land something and what
How
we
long
can
are
bring
we
it
in
home.
the paddock for?
What's that?
How long are we in the paddock for?
A couple of weeks, a few weeks.
How many?
I don't know, 3.
Is that all?
Well, what do you want? A month off?
I don't know. I just want to know what I'm doing.
That's all right. No, I think the racing just falls away a bit, and I think now that they've pushed the Perth Carnival and all their pop up, the Gong and the Dong and all those races in New South Wales. What is it? There's the Coast. There's the Most. There's
the chicken dance, the barn dance.
It's hard to keep
there
up
is the
with.
barn dance. The chicken dance is not there yet, but don't put it past them. And
It's
then
nearly all the
little
way to
dance,
Christmas.
Big dance, all on the same day.
I'd rather just have 2 or 3 weeks off now when it's just scurvy races, and then we come back and we go all the
Scurvy?
way to the barn dance.
I used to cop that my whole life. Eat your greens or you get scurvy, you imbecile. Yeah.
Yeah, so we might come back for maybe Winter Challenge or Lightning Stakes, like late July sounds good. DK needs a bit of a freshen up, don't you, DK?
Yeah.
Nico, you're just going to punch along, and you'll be just still going on the track, still be betting, working. No,
Doing our thing. So, yep, in for the long haul here.
yeah, we'll just be grinding away. So updates via Twitter and our emails. We might send a couple of tips out so you guys have got something to bet with over that break. But no shows for a couple of weeks. But we'll be back and roaring for the Spring Carnival, and we'll come up with a couple of tricks up our sleeve to get everyone excited for the Spring Carnival. Should be good. Good luck. Enjoy the winter. Rug up, and fingers crossed we can find a couple of winners this week and go out on a winning note. We'll see you next week. Actually, we won't. See you in 3 weeks' time.